Hey, welcome back to Doing Time with Dan. Today I have something completely different in the culinary department. It's not a gourmet meal from the island of Aruba, or even a roast pork sandwich from John's there in South Philadelphia. You know how much I love those, and we're headed down there next week, so stay tuned here at Doing Time with Dan for an update on that place. No, we're going off the beaten path today. We're going out with the backpackers and the survivalists, and we're going to test one of these freeze-dried meals that you see here in the studio. And you say to yourself, what's Dan doing with all of that freeze-dried food? Well, it's about being prepared. You know, you don't have to be a survival nut to be prepared. Think about it. Hurricanes come through or there's an ice storm, knocks the power out. There were some people last year in the Northeast that didn't have power for up to a week. And when you don't have anything to eat or a way to prepare it, life can get very, very uncomfortable. And that's where this freeze-dried food can come in handy. All you need is a little camp stove, maybe one of those ones from Coleman or one from MSR that I'm going to review in a couple of weeks here. Or you just have a little fire that you can build, boil some water, the next thing you know, you add it to one of these packs, and you're eating large, and life gets a whole lot better when your belly's full. So what we're going to do is stop down to the Doing Time with Dan kitchen, boil some water, and check out one of these packs. It's either going to be chili mac with beef or teriyaki chicken and rice. So stay tuned here and see which one it is. As you can see, we have the water on the boil and the chicken and rice won the coin toss. We're going to make that here in about 2 seconds. First thing you want to do is cut open the top, and then it opens up like your old Ziploc bag. Inside you have one of these Stay Fresh packs that keeps things nice and dry. Put that on the side. Looking in there, you'll see the chicken and rice and bits of carrots and other vegetables in there. It is a good value. The bag is very full. And when you add the water and it soaks up, it's really a nice, substantial bit of food in there. You want to use a pot that has a lip on it so that it pours very well and doesn't double back against the edge of the pot and make a mess. And as you can see, when you pour the water in, the bag squares away, makes a nice solid structure on the bottom so it doesn't tip over. I thought that was a handy feature here. The next thing I'm going to do, after we take a peek, which you can't really see in there too well, is use a spoon and stir it up real good. You want to make sure that the water mixes with all the contents of the bag. And then according to the instructions, you just seal that top and you wait between 12 and 15 minutes. I set the timer for 14 and a half just to make sure. So let's sit back and let this bag stew a while. Alright, 14 and a half minutes has elapsed and it's time to see what we have. Looking inside, you can tell it's well prepared, and I'm going to pour it out onto the plate so you can get to look at exactly what it is. Notice those bits of carrots. You can of course see the rice and the chicken is in there as well. It's a nice healthy portion. Now for the moment of truth, the flavor test. Wow, that's a lot of food. I forgot to mention that on the side of the bag here, it says makes 2 servings. And if you noticed, when I dumped that teriyaki chicken out onto the plate, it covered the entire plate. They're not kidding. That is 2 honest servings. In fact, I was only able to eat half of it. The rest I put back in the fridge for another day. So it is an honest amount of food here. It's not some little portion that'll just keep you alive for the next hour. You could probably live a whole day on one of these bags. Now, you're asking me about the flavor. I have to say, it's pretty darn good. There is some real tang in that teriyaki. The bits of vegetables are good and crunchy. And then there's the chicken and rice, of course, which always mixes together. So I would say on a flavor scale, you're talking about a 4 out of 5, which is pretty good for something that's freeze-dried and comes in a foil pack that's only that thick. I mean, it's not like you have a chef putting this all together for you. Actually, the chefs do that ahead of time, and then they dry it out and put it in those bags so it'll last about 7 years. So that's a good addition to your survival kit, the Wise Company freeze-dried foods. Remember, you are going to need a way to boil the water, so you want to get yourself a camp stove, something like that. Pretty soon I'll be reviewing the MSR camp stove. This is very light, uses all different kinds of fuels, and that's a great addition to your survival gear. And you want to take a look at that video, which will be coming out in about another week or so here at Doing Time with Dan. In the meantime, enjoy yourself and stay tuned for more great flying videos, tips from my favorite island of Aruba, and other exciting stuff from around the world.